Okay.
It should be an interesting race. I've been excited to see. I think
Yeah.
Zoja has the potential, if he's been practicing, to get a pretty big PB off this.
Yeah.
And Halul uh, can whip out some real good hover.
Hmm.
Because I raced you and him recently, just for fun.
Yeah. Okay, so we should do introductions.
I'm Brandino. I've been running this game for a few months now, but I've gotten very close to the community, and I really wanted to do a tournament, and this was a fun idea I had.
All right. And I'm Dr. Fish, and this is the DKR Triathlon tournament. We're going through our round robin stage, and we have a match between uh, Halul of Bandow and the other two, and then we have Zojulix from. Wait, this isn't Mario Kart.
Ooh,
So the
ooh.
other members of these teams will be racing at other points of the scheduling. So right now we have both players just finishing up Ancient Lake. There's not going to be too much of a gap in Ancient Lake times. The
It's a pretty
Fossil
cut and
Canyon is
dry
a course that
level.
actually has this course actually has some good potential to um, either even out times or have Halul, who's already in the lead, take a bigger lead.
The cool thing
There's quite a
about
lot of technical things.
this level in hover is that a missed pond jump is really not nowhere near as punishing as it is in car.
No, you're right.
That's what's nice is like so there's a couple times when I do this level in hover I'll miss the zipper right over the pond, but like you land and you can go in, and so you're like, wow, I'm not losing all of my speed in a second.
Yeah, for sure. We
There-
see differences here in the canyon. I noticed that Zojulix went up and grabbed the banana, or went up to grab the blue balloon, like we normally do in car. However, Halul going more with the time trial strat of just going through the bottom part. Nice big boost, almost bonks his head, but just you can stall out your hovercraft pretty well by holding A mid air, which is what he did there. Halul just pretty much held his A button down and let the acceleration go down from the boost. See Zojulix's pawn jump, pretty nice.
that the
Halul
pond
now on
jump.
his. Oh, go ahead.
One more thing about the pond jump and hover too, I want to say is there's this nice little spot to the left of the tunnel that you can hit where your hover vehicle goes flying like perfectly into that thing. It's one of my favorite parts about this stage in hover.
Yeah, that's really cool. There's a part where you don't really even get a jump up. If you're fast enough, you'll just kind of skate across. Like you'll kind of land on the top ledge completely. But we have Halul here on his second lap of Jungle Falls. And we have Zojulix just starting, so they're now about one lap apart. Nice. I think he got a 19 lap to start, which is a really good lap time, honestly, for your lap one. And a 17 lap two, so strong start for Halul on Jungle Falls. Gonna hopefully finish out
Ooh,
a
unfortunate bonk there.
mid 50s. It looks like a couple of bonks there is gonna give him a mid 50s.
Thing about hover is that most bonks won't hurt you except a bonk straight on.
Yes.
Otherwise, that's kind of what I like. I like, I feel like generally and casually players might not like hover too much, but in the speed run, hover is so complex. I love how insane you get with the hover.
Yeah. So the technique that you're gonna be seeing both these players implementing when they're moving around is called snaking, where they're going to be moving their joysticks back and forth, generally holding in the upper position of the joystick. So they really won't be going like just left and right. They'll be going kind of top left to top right, back and forth in a rhythm that's going to allow them to get speed. Because in this game, because hover is kind of awkward when you're moving forward just on your own, it's kind of awkward to turn. When you hold the R button and you turn, it allows you to kind of stabilize and gain speed. And so we just use that ability to gain speed and just constantly gain speed by going back and forth through snaking.
I find
We
it
see hot.
interesting. Oh, go ahead.
Mhm. No, I was just gonna mention the course that we're on. You're good.
Okay, so I was gonna mention it's interesting. So both hover and plane kind of require you to be holding R almost the entire time, because
Yeah.
generally, yeah, like you said, movement gets a little bit tighter. You can actually kind of hit turns a bit better, and especially in
Mhm.
hover, you have the benefit of the snaking. I find it's funny because this is like it's a technique in Banjo Kazooie too, another rare game where while you're swimming, you kind of move real clunky and slow normally, but if you hold R, you turn tighter and move better in the water.
Mhm.
So it's like a
Yeah.
recurring theme in rare games is press R to win.
Nice. Cool. So both players. So Zojulix is still moving through Hot Top Volcano Hover. Um, and we saw that there's a lot of complex and interesting movement with this course because there are ledges, and for the most part, you generally don't have to be on the ledges. Like, but when you're in this section specifically of the volcano, you want to try and hang there uh, because of the way that your cart interacts with the ledge right there. That ledge is not,
Yep.
even with the lava all the time. And so if it's not, you're gonna do what Zojulix just did and just kind of bounce and
It's
hit it head
so
first.
so frustrating to be approaching that hill thinking I can't possibly hit it. I've got it figured out, and it just
Yeah,
doesn't matter. The game says no. I've had
yeah.
that happen
So
so much.
yeah, generally when that happens, you're gonna want to jump. You're gonna want to be pressing your R button, and hover also jumps.
Yeah.
Is what it's not just used for turning and steering. It's also a jump mechanic. So
The
Halul finished Treasure Caves, and this is a very short hover track, just similarly to Jungle Falls. Shorter hover tracks are gonna tend to be like 40 to 45 seconds. So like Car has some very fast courses that are like 30. It can be like done in less than 40 seconds, and Hover doesn't really have that. But Treasure Caves is another short track. You're going to see how these players use their blue balloons here. Might be interesting. Both players are boosting into the cave. I've kind of favored trying to just chain boost here at the end and go flying essentially.
oh, do you, like you hold the blue balloon until the end and use it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just because I find that if I don't lose my blue balloon here, I don't really have a. I feel like using it there is not maybe the best way because you're not necessarily chaining very far. But if you use it like here, you might be getting a little bit farther. That's just my personal
Yeah, I get you.
take on it.
I've seen people a lot of the time being able to like completely approach the center of it, like in an
Yeah,
insane amount of speed with that balloon, but I don't get
hmm
where I'm supposed to be doing it. It's a very difficult
gotcha.
thing to time going into that tunnel.
Yeah, that is the exact. That's the same problem we have with car with the uh the way that it goes with the that. And Zojo looks actually he went right side to start of Crescent Island, which is a track that both players are on now. Hulul's finishing up with a 121. That is an extremely good time,
Yeah, he
honestly.
looked really good throughout that whole thing.
Mhm.
His snaking is great. Like, you can tell he's furiously shaking that stick.
Yeah, so Hulul is a seasoned player. He's pretty dang good at the game when he does play. Um, so it's obviously good to see him back playing.
Has he been
Right now
around
he's
for a
on
while?
Pirate Lagoon, which is the first track in our hover percent that's a default hover
One of the
track.
three.
One of three, and those three defaults are that's literally just the only vehicle is hover, which is this course Pirate Lagoon, the next course Whale Bay, and then later on we'll see Boulder Canyon.
Boulder Canyon's
So
a personal favorite of mine.
yeah, it's a really good track. It's a favorite of many players in the community.
I'm excited. I'm sure we'll see some really good BC from both of them, but because BC
Sure,
a fast BC is quite an impressive sight.
it is. Yeah,
One of
you
the
go.
more visually impressive levels to watch somebody
Mhm.
destroy.
Yeah, you go flying.
Ooh, a
That's a 50.
56.
So 56 is a really nice time. I mean, it's and Halul's definitely going to be happy with that. So now we see both default hover tracks being done at different times. Where now Halul is pretty much exactly a full track ahead at this point. Um, which is kind of um, based on the each player's PBs, it's not um gonna be an uncommon thing. Where Zojolik doesn't necessarily play a whole lot, but it's always great to see he comes back for tournaments, and it's awesome to see him playing. And then Hulul also does probably play a bit more, but he's also just got some probably more general experience in the game.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like a lot of experience will win out over most things.
Sure.
And this is the kind of game that like building the muscle memory is so important.
Yeah. So like a 50 whale bay from Halul is also so good.
That was well, yeah, I was
Yeah.
amazed at that whale bay. I'm hoping for a good Everfrost Peak Hover. I find to be another really good hover track.
The
Um,
best.
one of the most exciting things. Oh, he got it! Yeah, I love that. Okay, one of the most exciting things in DKR is the boost up the hill straight into the plane zipper. That is one
Yeah.
of my favorite pieces of movement in the entire game. I get
Yeah.
so excited watching that happen.
Mhm. So a fun interaction in the game, like we see with this track, is that hovercraft can actually go through plane zippers. So while he's not gonna be able to get the full effect of it, you can actually jump up underneath that boost and hit it in hovercraft, and it'll give you some boost, and it'll be a pretty good one too if you can be square with it. Um, but just an overall nice movement. You see Halul getting good boosts off of everything, really hitting every zipper like the correct way. Um,
He's really getting the
on,
most out of every boost too. That's the
yeah,
like I've consistently watched him skyrocket through these things.
yeah. I still generally struggle to get that really good boost out of the cave here, so I'm definitely taking some good notes. He's getting really nice timers to almost get all 2 times in a row. He almost got to that zipper, and one time he got literally to the zipper. So a 120 is a pretty good time. Like for EP hover, um, I th- I mean yeah, I actually said that's really good. And so now we can see there is more than a full track now between the two players. Zojulix
We
now
just
moving
saw
into Everfrost,
we just
and
saw a 106 whale
yep,
bay from Zoja, which honestly,
that's a
given
good time.
yeah, given that is a pretty good time because all he really I think he could have even gotten like maybe a 104 or 103 on that. He just hit his boost maybe a little bit too early coming out of the zipper near the end.
Yeah, that's also a thing is like zipper timings. Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh, that was clean.
So Walrus the ending so like the middle part and ending part of Walrus Cove is really neat in hover because there's some you have potential to do some really cool things in the hovercraft with kind of flying around. You also have some of that in car, but not quite as much at least because Halul is taking a bit of a okay. He on the first lap he took a different approach where he actually did more of a car route, but that time he kind of like took the shortcut there and while not necessarily able to hit the zipper boost, at least his he made up for with that nice blue boost to keep himself in a good spot. And Zojulix is making his way through EP hover
Oh, that was
himself.
a good boost. That was good boost timing right there.
So a really like good understanding of the boost pattern, and that's something that is really key in hover is understanding the boost patterns. It's key in all the vehicles for the most part. I think there's less. I think there's more. There's like maybe less um, boost, like less blue balloon boosting patterns in plane. But there's and that relies maybe a bit more on I guess on your barrel rolls. But there's also a lot of boost stuff in general. Ooh, nice little maneuver there. Halul actually opting to go the time trial, like getting extra
Going the right
balloons
path.
route to start, which could play some form of a difference here on the later laps. Being able to kind of snake a bit faster through the hill.
Ooh, love tap on the snowball. Let's go. So,
Yeah,
an interesting little mechanic in hover is that there's a certain position and way that you can hit the snowball in order to get a speed boost off of it.
yeah,
Um, it's something that is used in 100%. I know of for sure because it's
yeah. It
something that
is.
they happen in Bluey's race.
Mhm.
But I don't think it happens in cars. So I think it has something to do with the fact that
No.
hover is so bouncy.
Yeah, I assume it has to do with the hitbox of your character when they're in the hover vehicle, the hitbox of hover itself.
Oh, is Halul gonna do Frosty Village shortcut? Let's find out.
Yeah, I don't know. So this course is a course that does have a possible shortcut route. Um, and I don't know if we're gonna see that here, but it'll be very clear and obvious when we get there whether Halul's actually gonna do it. So he's gonna opt to go
Oh,
to the right here, where there's the
triple boost.
there's 3 zippers, and if you get them timed correctly, you can actually quad boost in the hover.
It's
Um,
you can
all
also
right,
do it in plane as well, and
yeah.
for both strategies, it's decently difficult because it's going to mess up
Oh.
your positioning going into the tunnel if you don't do it right.
Yeah, so a rough first lap for Halul. He got a couple of bonks and didn't have a great time in the forest. So looking here to get a better, at least get a double. He was unable. Just gonna get a double single there. And really, even if you just get a double there, you're pretty okay. He's also opted not to do the shortcut. Because
Yeah.
if he was doing the shortcut in that last part, you would see him turn around at a very specific part
So
to hit checkpoints to kind of trick the game
yeah. So
into like where the finish line is. Essentially, it's really weird. Not sure exactly how it works. Oh, nice double.
it's
Almost
it's
got the triple.
it's checkpoint manipulation, and what they do is I believe that they store checkpoints from one area and activate a checkpoint from a next to make the game think that they've actually moved somewhere they haven't, because
Oh, okay.
it might just
That
be.
makes sense.
And for those who don't know, a shortcut in hover is different from like shortcuts in plane, because shortcuts in plane are almost always out of bounds. But like shortcuts in
Yeah.
hover deal with checkpoint manipulation and driving backwards usually. Well, driving backwards as in turning around and literally driving the wrong way on the course until it becomes the
Yeah.
right way, and then it just works. I have to
So
imagine it works similarly to tricky skip.
probably.
And
I think they're all the same type of thing. There are some really obscure shortcuts in this game, but we will really only see 2 of them potentially used in a hover percent race. One being the one in Frosty Village, and the other being in the Spaceport Alpha. Um, there is a shortcut checkpoint manipulation 3 lap route. Otherwise, most of the shortcuts are all just used for fast laps in time trials. All right, so Halul's finishing up his Haunted Woods. He's gonna get a 57. That's a pretty good time.
that is
And
wow.
Zoja's making his way through Frosty Village. He has completed Walrus Cove and Snowball Valley. And Halul is now in Windmill Plains, one of my
I know for a
personal
fact.
favorite hover courses. I think he accidentally started a plane race, so a little bit of a menuing error from Halul.
Yeah, menuing is honestly the hardest part about this category, because normally in a
Oh,
lot of our categories there is not a lot of loading in between races, right? So in
yeah,
ATR you click ATR and you cycle through the races quickly, and all you have is the point screen at the end. Here's the problem
yeah,
with doing it in hover: there's no easy way to go into the level that isn't picking the level, scrolling down the hover, and then double tapping OK. So
yeah,
that's what makes this category kind of difficult, is that you have to menu quickly, and it's simple enough menu movements, but trying to execute them fast, especially not restarting your race, that's a big one that I've done by accident before, is just
yeah.
restarting the race by accident.
So he's gonna go for the ah, he just missed the hover zipper. So or the plane zipper. So in that where when Halul grabs that blue balloon at the beginning of the lap, he's trying to chain boost it with a zipper within the second windmill. And then he's gonna boost there and hope to actually hit the hover zipper, the plane zipper in the air, and kind of do what you do in EP hover. Um, he's on going into lap 3. Gonna do it one more try, but still good flying regardless. He could
Ooh.
also jump up and hit that, but it's a lot harder on that specific. It's a lot harder on that specific plane zipper to actually get that. Also, fun fact is if you drive over that plane zipper before you enter into like the lake section of it, you'll just actually get sent flying forward because you'll boost going over that over the plane zipper there. That's actually used in higher level windmill planes hover. So 148 from Halul is pretty good.
Yep,
We have
and
Zojulix making his way down Haunted Woods. Let's see how he's doing. Looks like he's gonna get a mid 20s first lap, but he's getting a lot of bananas, which is always good.
Greenwood Village time. Now, Greenwood Village is a level that I go in between liking. It's just got some interesting stuff about it. Like this hill
Hmm.
coming up here in hover is very different than it is normally. Because
Yeah,
normally in car you want to boost straight up that hill by getting the blue balloon from the turn. So Halul did that, but I find that like there are certain positions that can make you skyrocket and hit the ceiling very easily, or have to go
yeah.
through that wooded section in a way that's like it's like kind of it messes up your starting position. So
Hmm.
that hill is a little goofy,
Yeah, for sure.
and then that final turn there at the end where it's like almost it's not as bad as like Star City full on 90 degrees, but it is like some really sharp turn in here at the end.
Yeah. So what Halul's doing is he's pretty much going like halfway up the hill. And because you're not going to get sent skyrocketing, it's the first part of the hill's really steep. So if you boost before it, you're going to get sent flying into the ceiling. But
Yeah.
if you do it the way that Halul does it, you'll definitely just kind of boost into the forest, and you can, and you in car and hover, you have pretty good control over your movement while in the air, like left to right, especially in car. But in hover, you also have it. So he's gonna finish up with a what looks like a mid 120s here, 126.
Nice
Okay,
call.
pretty good time.
And here we got
Zoj.
Zoja in he's making his way through Windmill Plains again.
Mhm. Yep. So
Windmill
he's
Plains
gonna
got great music.
yeah. So Windmill Plains is a really fun course. I actually like it in every single vehicle. If I had to pick one, I don't necessarily like it in it. It's probably hover because hover hurts my thumb a lot to play it, but it's still like one of my favorite courses in the game.
And here we have
Ooh,
Halul at BC. He
so
got a nice real boost through that tunnel there. Ooh, unfortunate
he
bonk on Zoja's end.
he kind of cut his boost short flying into the castle. I'm wondering if that was just because he didn't like the angle he had. He probably didn't want to slam just into the wall in front of him.
He did that.
He had a really nice like boost, but I don't
Ooh,
think he liked his angle. So he
Se-
kind of cut it short to not
second time
have a
around
lot of
though.
issues.
Second time
Uh,
around though, he had a nice one.
he did, yeah. He definitely was able to hit the ankle on the wall to send to like, misdirect him a bit.
A 25 lap too. That is
Yep.
very nice for Boulder
That's
Canyon.
strong lap. Oh yeah.
Some of my fastest laps probably are around 27, 26.
Hmm.
This is a
Yeah.
level that I like to grind too, just because it's like one I particularly like. Although I
Yeah.
haven't tried the time trial yet, just because I like the balloon route way too much.
Hmm. So like pretty much Hul's gonna get a 124, and outside of a rough first lap, that was a really good time.
Very good. And here we
Um,
got Zoja finishing up here. He's gonna
20
be moving on.
so he got a 209, which is pretty good time. Uh, Especially for a course that's so reliant on you snaking a lot because there's
Yeah.
not a lot of boosts.
There's a lot of long stretches too.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
So here.
almost fell into the well there,
All right.
but he
So we're gonna see
didn't.
Halul doing space dust. Ooh. Okay. I opt to do a little bit of a different strat there, but respect on the boosting into the cave from there.
I find that Space Dust Alley has some of the most varied types of balloon race strats. Like people have
Hmm.
all kinds of crazy ways to do it. Especially plane is the one. Like these two balloons here really are like the outlier. Like I think everybody has
Yeah.
different strats for them.
So in plane, so like plane seems to probably be the only vehicle where the strat is pretty much well down pat. Because plane is the default vehicle, and we have so much experience doing it in balloon races. There are backups for everything usually, but yeah, people's actual default like hover and car balloon patterns is very interesting.
Uh, if there's one thing I think about when I think Space Dust Alley, it's resetting over it an ATR a lot.
Yep, resetting an ATR run because Space Dust not good enough.
Space Dust, yeah,
But
exactly. Like Space Dust is like one of like because it's at the very beginning of ATR runs. It's one of those levels that you really just don't want to not. You really don't want to start off real poorly, losing time
nope.
on. But it's a hard level to do well consistently. There's just a lot going on. This cave too can be difficult to navigate.
Yeah.
You can get RNG'd by the boulders.
Mhm.
It can be a mess sometimes.
Yep. So 143 from Halul. That's actually not a bad. It's not a bad hover time at all. The track. Um.
Here we have lag central.
So we've got the Dark Moon Cavern hover. I actually usually opt on the first lap to miss that boost, and I might not even get it on other laps the first boost, but that's just me. I'm not very good at doing that correctly, but Halul missing a couple of zippers on lap one.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I'm sure that he would want to be grabbing the boost. So, all right, so he's gonna get up 36, 37 first lap, maybe a little more because I don't know the timing for hover. So it looks like it's gonna be a 39
39.
after a couple of bonks. A couple, yeah,
Ooh,
because
he
just
got
because,
stuck just a tad bit
yeah,
on the ceiling there. In car, you want to hold forward, which helps you angle downwards,
yeah.
but I don't
And
think you have the benefit.
hover you also want to do it, but it's just not always possible. You actually have to kind of angle yourself a little bit towards the wall. Like I usually will bounce off. If I do it, I'll bounce off the left wall. Um,
What's
so this is
one other thing I want to note about hover too. So hover kind of has two distinct feelings to it. There's hovering in water and hovering on solid ground. And
yeah,
a lot of levels kind of have a mix. You know, obviously the default hovers have the most water for you to be doing that with, but
sure.
they are different feelings overall, and you kind of have to get used to different like just the different muscle memory of it. Ooh, unfortunate bonk there by Halul.
Yeah, game punishing him for too much speed.
Honestly, yeah, that's what happens. Sometimes this game does that.
Yeah, so like obviously that's a low ceiling. So usually, at least I'll cut my boost before I go into the. I'll cut my boost a little bit before the tunnel. But usually, if you can get yourself down pretty low. You don't have to worry about it. But he's gonna get a sub two, and so sub two is a real good time on Dark Moon Cavern on Dark Moon Caverns. He's gonna move into Star City. You got two more tracks left here. Zojalix is entering Future Funland now. He's on Space Dust Alley. Finished out his Boulder Canyon. I didn't quite catch the time,
It
but
was a 140 at the end.
okay. So might have been a little bit rough for what Zojalix wanted. Boulder Canyon is one of those tracks where it gets where like once you get a bit of a better understanding of the track, that's kind of when it becomes more fun, honestly.
I agree. Once I learned the correct balloon route and just the general way that you need to approach the level, unlike the banana route, everything, my outlook changed, and it's like my favorite now because of it. Also,
Mhm.
playing without music is definitely a different experience in that level too. So like I had
Yeah.
previously played it a lot with music, not realizing just how much lag there is otherwise.
Oh yeah.
Dark Moon Caverns and that level I would say are two of the laggiest stages.
So the two
Ooh.
I think the two laggiest and I think at least the laggiest in total is Frosty Village.
Oh, how could I forget?
With the snow effect. Like I'll usually refer to it if I have to play it in with music. I'll refer to it as Laggy Village, but that's just because of the particles. But Halul has his 32-second lap here on Star City, maneuvering it pretty well. Has actually hit the bottom zipper both laps.
Yeah, the
Um,
zipper's real finicky. It seems to be a
yeah.
crapshoot sometimes whether or not you actually hit it coming down.
And then even if you get the boost, it's like it's really weird maneuvering it like once you have the boost. And like you were mentioning earlier, these like just maneuvering with like 90-degree angle turns like that in a hovercraft is not easy.
Yeah,
So a 142 is a bit rougher than Halul might like, but it's also a tough time in general, like tough course in general. So now we're gonna see Spaceport
I wonder if
Alpha,
he's.
and Halul, I believe, actually does the shortcut here, so we are gonna get to see it.
Do you know what his PB is?
Yeah, Halul's got a third. He's not going to be able to PB here, but he has a mid 30s
Oh,
time.
here we go. He's doing the shortcut.
Yeah, so he's gonna have two instances of this AI kind of bother, or at least next lap, he's gonna have the AI kind of right in this area. So he'll be able to deal with it, obviously, but um,
Um, just
so
speaking of that, so speaking a little bit more about the AI too. So DKR exhibits a bit different behavior than other racing games at the time, as there's no rubber banding on
mhm,
anything. So if you're faster than the rest of the characters, you're just faster, and they're going to
yeah,
trail behind you the whole race. And
hmm
they basically turn into obstacles into a speed run more than anything else.
yeah. So Halul managing them very well there. I mean, they were a bit farther ahead than like um they were a bit farther ahead through it where this tunnel didn't have any AI in it. That's kind of where it becomes a bit more difficult is when they are kind of right in that red tunnel area. Um,
So 2 successful laps for Holul. Just needs one more to pull it
yes.
off.
So
A little bit.
so Halul wasn't sure if he actually hit the shortcut, so he wanted to make sure he got it there. That's good just to make sure you get your check. That's just good to make sure he gets his checkpoints. Now the AI are actually here on lap 3, so he's gonna get avoid most of them because now they're a bit more spread out by lap 3. Gonna finish with a mid 30s, so are like a 31:20 probably. Yeah, finishes with a 31:20, so a really good race
Very
from Halul.
strong. Very strong.
That's the third best hover race I believe we've seen from players.
And he
With
like to put it into
yeah,
perspective, he might not have like maybe PB'd, but that would have put him high on the hover percent leaderboard easy.
yeah. So top 10, that would have been just outside the top 10 for leaderboards as the
Very
top
good performance by Hello.
as 10th place, at least on the leader. Maybe not now, but at least last I checked, that was um that 31:17 is 10th with my time and Mork's.
All right, let's drag him in.
But all right, so Zojalix is going to be entering here into Star City. He just finished out with like I think a low, maybe a low twos or mid twos.
I think Zoja
Uh,
still has a good chance to PB, at least based on the time he is now and the levels he has remaining.
yeah. So Zojalix is probably gonna actually get a really nice PB of at least a minute. I believe he has a 37
Yes,
for his
37.
time.
I think he can.
So he'll get a 36, I think.
I'm hoping. I'm gonna say 35. I hoping for like a maybe let's say about a mid to high 35.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that for sure. He's definitely within that range.
All right, I'm going to
Um.
drag Holol into the call here.
Oh, okay.
Yo, GG.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hello. I didn't notice you moved me.
Hi.
Just
Yeah,
did.
you got
Over
moved
here.
in. Oh, you just got moved in.
Oh,
So yeah, dude, GG. That was a you had some really insane tracks there, like the 50 Whale Bay and the Pirate Lagoon too. Just wow.
Those are really solid times, my guy. The 56 and the 50. I don't know what your usual whale bay times were in the past, but or
there
Pirate
was a
Lagoons.
56 Whale Bay? Because that's pretty close to a
No,
50.
that was a 56 PL and a 50 whale
Or,
bay.
Um,
56 PL. Sorry, that's what I meant. No, that's not. That's pretty good for a race. I'm usually really bad at that track in a no reset setting, so
Gotcha.
I was
yeah.
pretty happy with those two.
And so I will say that I was definitely taking note of your times on your first hover percent submission as like a benchmark for myself. And I know for a fact that your submission gets a 55. Your first submission, your 31, gets a 55 Whale Bay. And you pulled a 50 off in here, which is 5 whole seconds faster than that. So that's really insane.
Yeah, I was like I said, I was pretty happy with those two.
Yeah, I I think you're pretty happy probably overall with your race. I would assume. I mean, it's it's less than a minute off PB, which is more than what most of us can ask for in our in our races.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest all the way through, but like you said, I
No.
had a couple really nice tracks, and I mean,
Yeah.
overall, I can't be too. I'll be pretty happy with myself if I play
Sure.
about this level for the rest of the tournament.
Here we
I
got
Yeah.
know that it'll
Zoja.
be enough to beat. I think it'll be enough to maybe go even with some of the competition. We got some strong contenders though,
Telling me, yeah.
uh,
Yeah,
and then with
we have a
Morks on the rise too, we've got now another strong contender. Uh,
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody has their work cut out for themselves. This is we have a lot of talent at play here, and we see Zoja heading up Spaceport Alpha, so we're gonna see how strong he can finish, but definitely looks like he can PB.
Yeah, he'll get a 36 time. It's
Yeah,
going
I
to be
think that's
difficult to finish here in less than a minute, unless he started doing the shortcut and getting super fast times. But I mean, his improvement, like he's got the movement basics down, which is more than you can kind of ask for with hover.
he just needs to
I
like
really liked. I kind of liked what he did there. He actually, if you can actually, he used he actually pulled down
yeah. I think he was
on his joystick going down into the vent, which is something that I remember learning about. Um, that kind of like stalls you in the air and allows you to lose
yeah.
speed.
Yeah. Maybe this will sound a little weird, but Zoja has a really like aesthetically pleasing hover style to watch.
Yeah, his hover
His snaking, he
his
has like
snaking
a
is
bit of a slower rhythm.
yeah,
Whereas I have a pretty fast rhythm, so
you
it
do,
looks kind of
yeah.
jerky.
Hmm.
But I mean, it works. Whatever works. But
Yeah,
I
for sure.
find this style looks nicer.
Oh, it does, yeah. Definitely.
I love this whole section on the ground here. Watching the
Such a,
optimal balloon routing for it is insane.
it's such a tough section. I don't actually know the optimal route for here, but I'm sure it looks cool. I only know it for car and plane.
All right, here we go. Coming up on time for Zoja.
Yep. And
Oh,
he's gonna
let's
get a
go.
third. So he gets a 36-35, which is a pretty hefty PB.
That's a good
Um,
PB for him, man.
that's
Congrats to
nice.
Zoja. Let's
Yeah.
pull
Yeah, that's nice.
let's pull this boy in here.
So so Halul will take the race, but Zoja gets the PB.
Good PB, Zoja.
That
Welcome in. Congrats on that the fat
oh
PB.
my, yeah, that's a PB by a minute and 16 seconds.
Good
Nice.
job, man.
Wow.
Doing that in the race is
That-
hard to do.
That's difficult. Yeah.
Like I knew my chances of winning the race weren't that big, but the fact that I PB'd by that much, I am beyond satisfied with those results.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
would
man.
be too.
You look
Yeah, that's
really
awesome,
good.
man.
You just like clinch it up the levels a bit more, and you got it. Honestly, like you have your movement basics down. I can see it.
I was saying before you got on, your snaking looks really good. It's hard to tell without actually playing, but I mean, it's satisfying to look at. You have a very controlled pattern.
Well, that's good because I was worried about like my snaking did not feel clean at all before starting this category, so
Snaking is
Yeah.
something that takes a while before you can really feel it out. So like it's like sometimes good snaking can feel bad to you for a while for sure.
Hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, good race, guys. Good job to both of you.
yeah, GG.
GG is fun.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that all the races end up getting broken up like this, but it's just going to be so much easier to schedule stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's a lot better than waiting like several weeks so we can get 6 people together.
Six
at once.
people at the same time when we've got half of everyone is in European time zones, and
We did it
Yeah.
once, but it might not happen much more.
Yeah, well,
Especially
I'm
for
hopeful
hover
that
players.
at least for the
Hover players,
bracket, when
That'd be tough.
for bracket for sure. Right now, just
Yeah.
with the amount
Yeah.
of races that we have to do, this is more of a necessity than it is something that we're also just doing because it's necessary right now. We have so many
Sure.
races to fill.
For sure.
But yeah, so great job again, everyone. GG's, congrats on the PB.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna
GG,
be
hello.
we're gonna be logging off here, but so let me check the Google Calendar real quick. Looks like we'll be
we
back
got a bunch on Saturday, huh?
Friday and Saturday. We have matches scheduled, and it looks like Saturday we have 2.5 Andes versus Time to Lose, which I believe will be 2 full team races. So if that will be quite an event. And Friday we've got races starting from 12 to 6. So consistently we're going to